Pinball has always balanced skill and spectacle with its flashing lights, cascading chimes, and frantic flipper action. Over the years, developers have reimagined this timeless arcade classic in video games like Pinball Effects and Zen Pinball, offering faithful recreations. VR2 has added its flair with titles like Pinball Effects 2 VR, where players can enjoy virtual tables at home. Bounce Arcade, however, takes things a step further, flipping the traditional table on its head by putting players inside the action. With Bounce Arcade, rather than standing over a virtual table, you find yourself inside dynamic 3D pinball environments. It's an ambitious concept that delivers on creativity and interactivity, but also stumbles in ways that keep it from becoming an immediate classic. Traditional pinball leans on real-world physics and mechanics, but Bounce Arcade reimagines the game. You're placed at the back and bottom of each of its four environments: a western town, a haunted mansion, a space station, and a pirate ship. You control circular paddles to bounce balls towards the assorted bumpers, targets, and ramps, but here you also trigger mini-games that add arcade and shooting elements to the game. Shooting bandits in the western town, mining asteroids in the space station, or destroying floating ghosts in the haunted mansion. These mini-games add a dynamic layer to the gameplay, adding some variety and engagement. The game also does its best to ensure you always know what you need to do. Key objectives are outlined in yellow and turn green when activated, guiding players smoothly through the action without feeling overbearing. However, while this inventive approach is refreshing, the inability to adjust the difficulty for individual tables is a missed opportunity. Each environment is locked to a preset difficulty, leaving little room for personalization. Worse, these difficulty ratings often feel mismatched to the gameplay, with hard tables sometimes feeling easier than easy ones. The real problem, however, is that across all the tables, the game feels too easy, and often too slow. Early on, the gameplay shines, with intuitive and responsive controls. The large circular paddles feel natural, and the quick tutorial gets you bouncing balls and triggering sequences within minutes. The mechanics are well tuned, with no glitches or awkward interactions to disrupt the flow. Unfortunately, rounds stretch far longer than expected. On my world-beating rounds, which I'm sure will soon be bested now that the game is out, each round lasted about 20 to 30 minutes. Scoring millions of points can feel more like a test of endurance than skill, with little of the adrenaline-fueled urgency that defines traditional pinball. Overall, the slow pacing and forgiving difficulty undercut the excitement. That said, you can hit moments of real excitement. At some of the later levels in the space station, it can get pretty hectic, although after you accomplish certain objective, it seems to reset and go back to being slow. In the haunted mansion, things can also get a little bit frantic, but most of the time, things are a little bit slow, and those hectic, frantic moments of real pinball chaos are fleeting and infrequent. Visually, Bounce Arcade embraces vibrant, stylized environments that give each table its distinct personality. From the warm tones of a western town to the eerie candlelit glows of the haunted mansion, the art direction is cohesive and charming. Particle effects and smooth animations enhance the experience, particularly during multi-ball sequences and bonus rounds. That said, the graphics don't aim for realism and could feel simplistic when compared to traditional pinball simulations like Pinball Effects 2 VR. While the visuals are far from lackluster, they won't leave a lasting impression. The focus here is on consistency and accessibility rather than cutting-edge design, which works well enough for the game's lighthearted tone. Sound design is integral to any pinball experience, especially when it's virtual, and Bounce Arcade gets the basics right. The satisfying clangs, dings, and thwacks of the ball create an authentic pinball ambience as they hit bumpers and targets. Each table features its own themed sound effects, from the haunting sounds of the mansion to the lasers of the space station. The music, however, is serviceable. While each environment has a distinct soundtrack, the tracks lack excitement, and don't quite elevate the gameplay. Technically, Bounce Arcade runs smoothly and is clearly well polished, with no crashes or bugs to detract from the experience. The game maintains stable performance and responsive controls even during chaotic moments like the multi-ball sequences. The game is tight. Bounce Arcade's replayability, however, hinges on your interest in high-score chasing and leaderboard competition. If you enjoy friendly rivalries or mastering every detail of a table, there's plenty to enjoy here. The variety of minigames and VR interactions adds some novelty to the experience. Still, the game's limited content at launch and lack of progression systems leave little to sustain long-term interest. Without additional environments or new gameplay features, it risks losing its charm after a few hours. Other pinball adaptations extend their lifespans with DLCs and more extensive customization options, something Bounce Arcade could greatly benefit from. Overall, Bounce Arcade brings a genuinely creative twist to pinball, and it feels excellent, leveraging VR to immerse players in dynamic, interactive environments. Its polished mechanics and inventive approach to pinball showcase the medium's potential, offering moments of genuine fun and accessibility. However, the game is held back by its lack of challenge and its currently limited content. The inability to adjust the difficulty for individual tables further restricts their longevity. While it's an enjoyable experience for casual players or those new to VR, it falls short of becoming a standout in the pinball genre. If the developers expand its scope with updates or DLC, Bounce Arcade could bounce back stronger. For now, it's definitely worth a try if you're intrigued by it. Just don't expect it to hold your attention forever. Overall, 7 out of 10. Bouncy. If you liked this review, remember to give us a like or a subscribe. If you've played Bounce Arcade, tell us what you think about it. And, as always, have a wonderful day.